Hello, in this video I will demonstrate how to create a scatter plot to investigate the relationship between two continuous variables and how to calculate a Pearson product moment correlation coefficient. In this data set, I have information about 150 individuals, 150 students to be more exact. I have two variables. One variable is measuring student attendance, and the other variable is measuring student performance on a standardized test. So what I'm interested in doing here is looking at the relationship between the two variables. So the first step in doing that is to create a graphical representation of the two variables in relation to one another. So I can do that by creating a scatter plot. I'm going to the Graphs menu and then click on Chart Builder. I get a warning message saying that I should be careful which variables to use for different types of graphs. And then if I click OK, I'm getting the chart builder window. And then from the list on the left side, I select the scatter plot. And then I select the first type of scatter plot here, which is the simplest one. And I'm dragging it in the chart area. And then from here, I notice that I have a list of all my variables in the data set on the left side. And I can put school attendance on the x-axis and then academic achievement on the y-axis. And then I can click OK. So now in my output window, I get a scatter plot of the two variables. Notice that I have school attendance on the x-axis, just like I specified, and then academic achievement on the y-axis. If I examine the scatter plot, I can see that the data points seem to describe a line that is going upward. So there seems to be a positive relationship, probably moderate to strong relationship. And except for one outlier here, which seems to be a student who had high attendance but a very low score, but most of the other data points seem to describe the same upward pattern. But if I want more precise information about the relationship between the two variables, I can calculate a correlation coefficient in its p-value. So to do that, I can go to the Analyze menu and then click on Correlate, select bivariate, and then I can select my two variables from here and move them into the variables area. And notice that here we have the option of calculating different types of correlation coefficients. Now, in our case, we're working with two continuous variables which seem to have a linear relationship, so it would be appropriate to calculate a Pearson correlation coefficient. However, with ordinal variables or ordinals or variables that have tied ranks, we may consider using either a Spearman correlation coefficient or a Kendall's tau correlation coefficient. So, but again, in our case, the Pearson correlation coefficient would be most appropriate. So I can click OK. And in this table, I get the results of the correlation coefficient calculation. So the correlation coefficient between school attendance and academic achievement is 0.743, which it is indeed moderate to strong relationship. And the p-value for this correlation coefficient is less than 0.001, so it's approaching 0. This p-value is obviously lower than alpha, which is typically set at 0.05, so we can state that the relationship between the two variables is statistically significant. Now, be very careful that do not to overstate the significance of these findings, and to not imply a causal relationship. Correlations or correlation coefficients provide evidence of association Other methods that are a lot more complex are needed to provide evidence for a causal relationship. The correlation coefficient only proves that there is a significant association between the two variables. So this is, in a nutshell, how to create a scatter plot and how to calculate a correlation coefficient for two quantitative variables using the IBM SPSS statistics software.